Welcome to Beers with Brian. And I'm Brian. Hey, this is the Momentum edition because we got some mo here at BBCo. Anyways, hey, drywall's up and the paint is now on and flooring should be in place sometime next week. And then once the shell is done of the space, we can start stuffing this place with kitchen equipment and some people and some food and start serving you some delicious food. And it is coming, and we got some speed going here, and we're really, really stoked. So, excited about that, number one. Second, beer recommendation for the week. SPP. This is the German style Pilsner. 5.2, so not like weak, but not like crazy. So it's a nice, easy drinking, fizzy yellow beer. 30 IBUs, got a little bit of spicy hops to it. And this one we were able to lager for about 4 to 6 weeks because it was in our new brew house and we have a little time right now. Time is our friend. So we can push these through in about 2 to 3 weeks if we want to. But letting them lager just lets them kind of mellow out, chill, get clear. You can see how clear this beer is. Really good things. Also, for the first time in our history, in our smaller brew house, all the fermenters are filled with IPA. That's right. We have New Kid and 3 hazies in the fermenters right now. So it's IPA central over there. And so that got me thinking about fermenters. So I want to take you down to the new brew house and show you our fermenters and tell you a little bit about them so you can learn something about fermenters. Let's go. All right, here we are in the new brew house. This is the big brew house, as we like to call it. We've got some 10-barrel tanks over here, and then we've got some 5-barrel tanks here. And so what I want to tell you about is a fermenter. Okay, so first off, like, look at the shape, right? It's like straight-sided, and then it goes to a cone, as opposed to the bright tank, which is a flat bottom. And here's why. So when the beer is fermenting, there's some like activity and it's moving around and like all that sort of stuff. And then as it stops fermenting, things start to like settle. And this cone shape helps focus the settling to as small an area as possible so that we like maximize the garbage, if you will, the stuff we want out of the beer at the end. Hop sediment, dead yeast cells, all that sort of stuff that we want to get out of there without getting rid of too much beer. And so when we're done, we'll have it stop about here, and this is called the dump down here. And so what Corey can do is he can open that dump and pull all that sediment off the bottom of the beer, close it, and let it sit for a little bit longer, and now you have more clear beer and less sediment. This right here is called the racking arm. And if you look inside there, you can see there's like a curved shape pipe, and we can move this pipe wherever we need to so that it can go down into the sediment or be a little bit above it. And this is another way we can move beer maybe from here to the bright tank without sucking up too much gunk. And so I mentioned that the SPP lagers, that lagerings help to clear it. And in homebrewing, you rack a beer where you move it from one vessel to another, leaving behind all the sediment, and that's what that racking arm would be used for. These are just accessory ports. If you look next door on the bright tank over here, we've got a pigtail, which allows you to sample the beer and have a little carbonation and keep it from getting too foamy. This has just got a dead end on it. This one is the carb stone. We attach this CO2 to here, and there's a big long porous stone, and this is the bright tank's where we carbonate the beer, and that pushes CO2 and disperses it into the beer. This right here is called the manway, and this is like a door where you can get your head and your arms in there to spray it and clean it and make sure it's sanitized inside before you use it again. So you want to be able to have a visual inspection. This is where you go in for that. And then up here we have some blow-off valves. Usually on this guy, we'll attach a bucket filled with sanitized solution and the tube that goes underneath the sanitized solution so that as the beer is making carbon dioxide and it's pushing off, we maintain positive pressure, keep it sanitized, and then the bubbles go through the sanitized solution so that nothing can get back in, sort of like an airlock. This right here is just a measuring valve. We open it at the top and the bottom, and the beer will fill it up, and it will equal the level on the inside of the tank, and then we can determine how much beer we have in the tank. See, this one we've taken some out, and there's 2 barrels of beer left in this one. And then finally, this is our thermostat for our glycol. So these are jacketed fermenters. So there's a layer that goes all the way around the tank. Here's the inside of the tank and the outside, and in between is glycol. And so you can see these pipes running along the bottom here of the brew house. Those are bringing chilled glycol in, which is sort of like radiator fluid. And if you look over here, we've got it set to 36. So this tank is staying at 36 degrees so that it keeps the beer cold and is ready for kegging when we need it. But when we're fermenting can get really high temperatures, 80s, 90s, 100s if it's left unchecked. But with the glycol, we can keep it in the 60s and 70s during fermentation. That like mellows that fermentation down, which creates mellow flavors. If it gets up in the 80s and 90s, you get hot, like alcoholic off flavors that are developed during the fermentation, and the beer is not as good. So we use this to temperature control the whole process to make sure that the beer comes out tasting the best it can for you. Yeah, for you. All right, and then that's the fermenter. So yeah, pretty cool. All the fermenters that are 3.5 barrels in the other brew house are filled with IPA, like right now, like I said. So kind of cool that we've got a lot of IPA going there. These bigger ones will be used for our fizzy yellow bitters because they can last a little bit longer without losing the aromatics of the hops, whereas the IPAs, smaller batches, keep the quality high and move through them quicker. So there's a little bit about fermenters for you. Let's head back to the studio. All right, we're back here in our studio. Next week at BBCo, we've got EMT tonight, and Jay's Lobster Truck is back tomorrow night, Saturday. And then next week, we've got Guac Box for Taco Tuesday. I love it. I get it a lot. We got EMT again next Thursday. And then we got RTB next Friday. And finally, new food truck, Chef Dan's food truck, Cajun style food next Saturday. Woo! That's a lot of food trucks, a lot of food coming your way. It's a good time of year to come down to BBCo, have some food, have a pint. Hopefully, we're going to be getting that beer garden extended through to the beginning of the cold weather season, so it's nice and usable before the snow comes down, because I don't think anybody wants to drink beer in the snow, but maybe you do if you were in a hot tub. And then apparently, just found out literally moments ago, we get bar stools back, so we should be having a few bar stools. If you like to belly up to the bar, we should have some bar stools until 9 o'clock, because then that's when the COVID levels rise. Just kidding. And then we have to take them out, apparently, at that point. So, anyways, like, subscribe, mask up. Cheers, everybody.